Donald Trump. We can show you a picture of the courthouse where the federal hearing will take place tomorrow. Kelly, can we talk about this arraignment? It's in front of the federal judge, Tanya Chutkin. We don't yet know whether Donald Trump will be there in person. What do you know about her? What sort of judge is she?
Sure. Well, the federal judges in the U.S., the Article 3 judges are appointed by life. So what that means is the federal judges are appointed by the president. So when we look at the case in Florida, the federal judge overseeing the Florida case was appointed by Trump. Now, the case in New York against Trump is a state court judge, and the federal judge overseeing Donald Trump's indictment in D.C. was appointed by Obama. Magistrate judges in the U.S. are non-Article 3 judges, and so they are not life terms, and they are not political appointees.
Jennifer, they like the arraignments. They've put a camera on all these arraignments and these court appearances so far. And I think there's every likelihood that he will turn up in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. And they'll look at the polling, which we've discussed tonight in the programme, and say, you know what, it's working.
Well, it has worked. And every indictment has come right after there's a big story on Hunter or Joe Biden. Every indictment has come the day after or 2 days after. So it changes the narrative in the media to talk about Donald Trump, which it helps Donald Trump, because in everybody's mind, you're hearing about Donald Trump. Other than that, too, earlier you were mentioning, how does the Republicans run for their messaging if Donald Trump comes out in the primary and is the candidate that's going to run against Joe Biden or whoever wins on a Democrat primary, the Republican Party is going to run their own messaging, and Donald Trump is going to run his own messaging. And with these indictments, one of the merging messaging for both of them is going to be, you cannot trust the government. If the government can come after someone like me with these particular fabricated evidence, they can come after you as well. And that's just going to be their messaging.
Kelly, you're shaking your head.
And that's probably going to resonate with the voters.
Kelly?
Well, they're not fabricated evidence. And the colleague already said that under the law, you're innocent till proven guilty. So there's no fabrication of evidence. We have to understand that the grand jury heard evidence and believed that he should be charged with a serious crime. That is key. The fact that someone say that some evidence was fabricated.
And who is it that's on a grand jury, Kelly?
I'm sorry?
Who is it that is on a grand jury?
Sure. So that is made up, as they say in the U.S., of your peers. So that is people from that district. So in Florida, that would be people in Florida that sat on the grand jury. You show up for jury duty and you are selected for the grand jury. And then it also was a grand jury in D.C. and also a grand jury in New York as well. So that's all the people sitting there listened to the evidence and made a determination that he should be charged with serious crimes.
I suppose the
Christian,
point.
Also, too, another verbiage in the States is that even a ham sandwich could get indicted by grand jury.
Okay, it's the point that you're making, Jennifer, and this is an important point because it will make a significant part of the proceedings, is that in Washington, D.C., which is, broadly speaking, a Democrat town, Donald Trump cannot get a fair hearing from a group of his peers, and that is why his lawyers are today talking about moving it to West Virginia, or trying to get it moved to West Virginia.
And which is a smart move on their behalf, because if they can prove or show that there's biasness in a town that have worked against him, and we've seen that with the Russia collusion and the information that was presented there to show that that was a fabricated, a made-up story, he can utilize
Well, it wasn't entirely a fabricated story. What Mueller said was that he invited Russian collusion and expected to profit from it. Let's have it right.
Well, they also said that it was all this dossier that was done, that they went to a FISA court to say we need to spy on him because of this information that we presented to the FISA court that was stated to be false information at the end of the day. So what I'm saying is that he can utilize that in his argument to move the venue.
what is true, Kelly, and we're going to have to leave it here because we've only a minute left, is that this is going to stress test all the American institutions over the next year.
I think what truth is that it's important to remember that we live in a democracy, that someone's voting is a fundamental right, and that people are going to be held accountable for their actions in the U.S., no matter who they are, where they are. And I think that's key. But ultimately, in our jury system, it'll be up to the jurors based on the evidence that they hear and to make a determination of what are the facts. And I think that's going to be key.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. I should point out to you that the arraignment is at 4 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow night, which puts it smack bang in the middle of our programme. So we'll be here for 2 hours of special programming tomorrow night. We will follow every detail. I hope you will join me from that. Many of our panellists who've been on with us tonight will be joining us for that. We're looking forward to it. Just left for me to say, Jennifer Carroll, Kelly Hyman, thank you very much for your company this evening and steering us through a very complex indictment. Plenty more to come tomorrow. We'll see you then. Good night.